Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of today's geography lesson. Now, so far we have looked at the different adaptations that some plants have in a tropical rainforest, and then we began looking at the different types of plants that we might find in a tropical rainforest. Now, we started off by looking at the banana tree, and the second plant that can be found in a tropical rainforest is the rubber tree. Now, the rubber tree produces this milky white substance called latex, and latex is actually used to make rubber. So the rubber tree lives up to its name, and it actually, in some way or another, produces rubber. And they are really, really tall trees. They reach around 40 meters, which is even higher than a banana tree. Do you remember how high the banana tree reached? That's right, 20 meters. So the rubber tree is even higher. Looking at the background of this picture, where do you think the rubber tree could be found? Pause the video and have a think. How did you do? Did you get it right? Let's have a look. So the rubber tree can also be found in South America, more likely to be the Amazon rainforest. It can be found in the following countries too: Brazil, Venezuela, Ecuador, Colombia, Peru, and Bolivia. So it's found in lots and lots of these places. Don't worry if you can't remember them. The main thing is that you remember the type of plant that we have talked about today. Another plant is called the Heliconia. Now, the Heliconia looks a bit like this, and it's a really, really colourful plant, and it has 40 different species of the Heliconia. It's also known as the lobster claws or the parrot flowers. What do you think gives it that name? Maybe it's because it's quite a sharp plant. Maybe that's why it's called the lobster claws, because it's red too, and lobsters are red. It might have been called the parrot flowers because it's got these two contrasting colours, the green and the red. What makes it be called the parrot flowers? Now, the heliconia also has claw shapes, and they are called actually bract, and these are leaves that protect the flower inside, so only specific birds such as hummingbirds can get to them. How do you think these hummingbirds can get to the leaves? That's right, they have these big beaks and they can get into them really well, can't they? So it helps protect the flower. That's why they're so spiky and sharp. And the heliconia can be found in what's called the neotropics. And these are places such as southern Mexico, so here, Central America, South America, and the West Indies too. So it can be found in lots and lots of places around the tropical rainforest region. Another plant is the orchids now. Have you heard of the orchids before? They are the largest family of plants in the world, and they come in every single colour except black, and they can grow over 4 meters long. So they look quite large in this picture, but if you think of my meter stick, 4 of those is as big as they can grow even. So they are another plant that is home to the tropical rainforest. And orchids can be found in most climates, so again, Central America, South America over here, and also countries along the Andes Mountains too. So we're noticing a pattern here that most of these plants are found in South America, which is where the Amazon rainforest is. Another plant, now this is a pretty funny plant. I've not seen this one before. It's called the Bromeliad. And the Bromeliad has more than 2,700 species that grow on the ground, on rocks, and even on other plants too. And they are huge. However, you might notice that these bromeliads are quite spiky. Well, actually, you might notice these spiky leaves because the spiky leaves of a bromeliad are part of the pineapple. Have you ate a pineapple before? Have you seen a pineapple before? Well, you might notice now you can go and tell your grown-ups, Mum, did you know the top of the pineapple is made out of the bromeliad plant? And the bromeliad plant can be found in the Amazon rainforest. They will be wowed. Their socks will be blown off. And the bromeliad can be found again in the neotropics, so southern Mexico over here, Central America, South America, West Indies, and Western Africa too. Again, don't worry about whereabouts they're found. All you need to know is that they are all located in South America, which is the Amazon rainforest, which is our main topic, isn't it? So that's all we need to know. The evergreen cacao tree. Do you know what cacao tree produces? They contain cocoa beans. Do you know what cocoa beans make? Cocoa beans make chocolate. So, in our cacao tree, we can see that it takes from 7 to 14 of the beans to make 1 pound of dry, or of the pods, to make 1 pound of dry cocoa beans, which is turned into chocolate. So we can make chocolate from our cacao tree. Wow, how interesting. And the cacao tree is found below the altitude of 300 meters. So areas that receive around 10 centimeters of rain per month, such as the Amazon. And then the final plant that we're going to look at today is the Brazil nut tree. And this tree towers over all of the trees that we looked at today. It towers over the banana tree, it towers over the rubber tree, because it can reach 50 meters high. And the nut is made inside the fruit that is the size of a tennis ball. So the nut that is made is huge from this nut tree. It's the size of a tennis ball. So if you think of a tennis ball around this big, it's the size of that. So it's a really huge nut that's made. And the outside layer of the fruit of the tree, so this tree grows some fruit, and the outside layer of the fruit is so hard that only a type of rodent, so a type of creature, an animal called the agotis, which has very sharp teeth, can break it open. Nothing else can break that fruit open to get that nut out apart from that rodent, that animal. And the Brazilian nut tree is found amongst the Amazon rainforest. Okay, so we've found out about lots and lots of different adaptations for the plants, and you've also had a go at looking at the different plants that are home and found to the Amazon rainforest. Now your task today is to design your own species of plant. I want you to imagine you've just been told that you're going to put a plant in the Amazon rainforest. Even though that wouldn't happen, you don't just pick plants up and put them in the Amazon rainforest, they have to grow there. But we're going to pretend today that we can make our own plant and put it in the Amazon rainforest. But we need to include their adaptations to help our plant to survive. Now your plant might have drip tips. What were the drip tips for again? That's right, so the water would come off the plant nicely, and so that the plants wouldn't be damaged, the leaves wouldn't be damaged. Your plant might also have leaves shaped in opposite directions. What was that helpful for again? That's right, so it doesn't block the sunlight out. Your plant might have buttress roots to help the plant stay upright. Your plant might have lianas growing up the side of it to be able to reach the sunlight. Your plant might have epiphytes growing on it too that get their nutrients from the water and the air. Your plants might have really teeny tiny skinny tree trunks, but really tall to reach the sunlight in the canopy, in the emergent layer. Your plant might also have really smooth bark to help the rain from going right down to the roots, but also to help those animals, those pesky animals, to make them stop trying to get the food because they can't climb up because it's too slippy. So what I would like you to do is draw a picture of your plant. This has to be a plant that doesn't exist, but you can get inspiration from those plants we've looked at today. You have to name your plant. What's your plant going to be called? Then I would like you to choose some adaptations that this plant has. Does it have drip tips? Does it have buttress roots? Does it have lianas, epiphytes? Does it have tree trunks that are skinny? Does it have bark? Does it have leaves facing the other way? What does your plant have? But remember, you need to draw this in the picture of your plant too. So you need to tell me that you know that this is what your plant has. And if you just write, my plant has drip tips, is anyone else going to know what that is? No. So you need to write it as if you're trying to teach someone else what a drip tip is. So if you say that this plant has drip tips, you will need to say what that helps that plant for in the rainforest. You don't have to include all of these adaptations. I would like you to include 4 at minimum, so at least 4 adaptations. And then, just like we looked at today, where can this plant be found? Can it be found in South America? Can it be found in Central America? Can it be found in Africa or Asia? But could it be found in Antarctica? No, because it has to be where tropical rainforests are. Could it be found in Europe? No, Europe does not have any tropical rainforest, does it? So we need to think any other countries or any other continents this plant can be found. And finally, what makes this plant unique? Just like the banana tree plant could grow bananas, the rubber plant could make rubber, the cacao tree could make chocolate. Why is your plant unique? What's special about it? And when you've done that, that will complete today's task. And then you have your mid-unit assessment, okay? So your first question, you are using these 3 words, identifying which line they are. You are using these 4 words to identify which type of forest each picture is. Then we are going to label each layer of vegetation. Describe what the word fauna means. Is this an example of a coniferous or a deciduous tree? How do you know? And then complete the sentence. Okay, so 2 tasks for today. 1, make your own plant, and 2, complete the assessment for today. Your final plenary today then, just to remind yourselves, can you name 3 ways that plants have to adapt to life in the Amazon rainforest using these pictures to help you? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, did you remember the buttress roots and how to help the tree to stay really, really stable and stop it from falling over? Did you remember the drip tips to help the water to go off the leaf safely without damaging the leaf? Did you remember the epiphytes that sometimes grow on plants high up in the canopy to be able to get their nutrients from the water and the air and not the soil? And did you remember that some plants have lianas, and the lianas grow really high up in the tree to help it reach the sunlight? Well done for listening today. You have been superstars. I am so excited to see all your fantastic plants. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye, Year 4.